Welcome back to the Self-Esteem and Confidence Mindset podcast with me, Johnny Pardo. Today, I welcome Kat to the show, where we're going to be talking about self-confidence, mindset, and living a more soul-led life, and many, many more things that Kat's going to touch on today. So, Kat is a Akashic wisdom guide, helping people to raise their vibration and live a soul-led life, moving from struggle and scarcity to inner peace and abundance through clearing the negative core blocks from their Akashic records. So, Kat, welcome to the show today. Glad
Thank
to
you so
have you.
much for having me. Thank you.
Wow.
Akashic. It's a bit of
Akashic. Yeah. Yeah,
a
just full disclosure to the listener. I might struggle with that word, but I think I'm okay so far. So we're going to go into that in a moment. So yeah, Kat, great to have you here, obviously, and make this happen. So yeah, tell us a little bit about what an Akashic wisdom guide is, and maybe a little bit, a few highlights from your story that got you to doing this.
absolutely. Akashic Wisdom Guide. This is, you have to call yourself something, don't you?
It's a good
So
name.
you have to come up with something. Basically, the Akashic Records is a quantum database, energetic database. So it's not obviously not a physical one.
Hmm.
That exists in the seventh dimension of existence. We're in the third dimension here.
Wow.
And it's basically a record of your soul's existence from your soul's inception. So all of your lifetimes that you've lived, and it stores all kinds of stuff. And the thing that I'm most interested in is um, the stuff we've done in past lives that is not in alignment with our soul blueprint. So we call that negative karma. So karma is not necessarily something that's here to, to be mean to you, but it is here to teach you a lesson. So if you're repeating patterns over and over, then you kind of want to have a look at them and listen to them, don't you? And maybe just look at shifting them. So all of these patterns exist in our Akashic records from our past lives, from our present life right now, and from our ancestral line as well. So all of the things that have happened on our mother line, on our father line, all the ancestors. So we inherit all of those karmically. So we want to clear them out.
Wow.
Because they contribute to our limiting beliefs, our patterns, programs that we're stuck in this lifetime, that we don't want to live anymore, that we're on a hamster wheel trying to get away from I'm not good enough, and fear and scarcity and failure and all of those wonderful things that those of us in self-development are trying to overcome all the time. So this was a really big shift for me on my personal development journey, without having to dig into it all. Sometimes you go through personal development things and you have to dig back over the traumas from your past. You don't have to do that here. It's literally, we're just going to identify them and clear them.
Oh wow. So what led you into this? Was it just something you discovered?
Yeah, it was pretty random. It was someone that I knew that I met. So we were talking briefly before we came on about this concept of being in Buy Me, where you're working really, really hard trying to make things happen. I was working really, really hard trying to make things happen in a network marketing business a few years ago, and doing that kind of cold outreach to people on Facebook. And I connected with someone, and she was doing some energy work, and I didn't really know anything about energy work. And then we just stayed Facebook friends. And then one day she was posting about Akashic Records, and to start with, I wasn't interested. I kind of went, oh, I don't even know what that is, and sort of walked on by. And then something hooked me at an energetic level, at my soul level. And over the course of a few weeks, I saw some more of her posts, and I just thought, actually, I really need to go and find out about that. It was something deep within me that was calling me to it. And we all have that little voice inside of us, I think, but it's just about whether or not you listen to it.
Oh,
And that's really what I want to do, is put people more in touch with that inner voice. that's leading you in the direction to build the life that you actually came here to build.
I love that, and how you change your kind of from that sort of like buy me place. Just for the listener who's kind of wondering what the the buy me is, it's
Yeah,
kind of from one of our teachers, Peter Sage, who's actually a former guest as well. But yeah, it's kind of, you've got these different levels in life, where you've got this to me, and you feel like everything's going wrong to you. You're challenged by circumstances, and
victim.
it's all on you. Yeah, victim. You got this by me where we're working really, really hard, which is quite a lot of us, particularly in personal growth, trying to make things happen and fight all these rivers, as the analogy he uses. And then you got the through me, which is the very much like being able to be directed and not fight things and let go of control. So not
Yeah,
trying to control everything.
being connected to source and the universe, and that's really what this is
Mm,
about. It's about tapping into. So we have our subconscious mind, we have our
mm,
conscious mind, and then there's also this super conscious mind, which is basically that connection between us here as a physical being, connecting to source, universe, consciousness, God, whatever word you want to call it. And that's really where the magic is, because then you can co-create
mm.
with something that sees the bigger picture that we can't see. We only see our own little bit, don't we? The little bit of the path that we're on.
Mm.
And
How
we're
Kat, do you find it useful to, is there something you find useful to connect to, either sort of like that inner voice, or that wider kind of wisdom?
Yeah, I think what I'm discovering is it's about the voice is there. It's just muffled. It's covered in layers of, can I say crap? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
Covered in
yeah.
layers of crap. So this is the negative karma, if you like, all the things that we've done in past lives and ancestral lives that are not in alignment with our soul. All of the programs and the beliefs that we build up from when we're a young age and that get piled on us, all of that stuff that's actually not in alignment with our soul blueprint, that sits, it's almost like it buries the connection, it buries the voice. And actually, once you start to clear that away, you get a much clearer connection.
Mm,
You're able to quieten your mind a lot easier, so that you can actually be in the present moment and listen, as opposed to having your brain going a million miles an hour, telling you what your to-do list is and how many things you've got to get done today and
mm,
how you need to get it all done, because if you don't, it's going to be a big freaking disaster. So it's really about getting into that present moment, clearing away the stuff that's stopping you from being in that present moment.
mm,
Then you can connect. Then you can actually start to receive whatever you want to call it. I mean, downloads sometimes can sound from that higher consciousness can sound a bit mystical, but you know, the thoughts and ideas and things come with ease. You know, I've just joined a business program, and I'm building my audience around this at the moment, and it's like night and day from when I've done it before. It's like things are just coming to me, and it feels really easy and in flow, and I'm
mm.
enjoying it, and it's fun, and I'm smiling, and it's just like,
Oh,
if you'd
awesome.
known me 5 years ago, I'm completely unrecognizable.
Oh, that's amazing. So it sounds like that kind of like that wisdom, that voice, that source you're saying is always there as like sort of like part of us, but it's about uncovering, on getting rid of some of those layers, and like you say, some of those negative experiences maybe that have come into us, that we're holding on to, that are blocking it.
Yeah, absolutely,
Mm,
absolutely. Because essentially, we are our soul, and then we're in this physical body with our ego.
mm,
And these two things, the soul and the ego, give us a choice every day. We can either choose love and light, which is the soul, or we can choose fear and darkness, which is more ego
mm,
focused. And what we want to set ourselves up in the best possible way, so that it's much easier to choose love and light all the time, and then we raise our consciousness even more by doing that, because that's how humanity is global. That's how global consciousness raises, by people being more in love and cooperation, isn't it, rather than fear and competition.
That's some of the stuff I've certainly learned from Peter as well, and trying to
Yeah,
get more, raising that consciousness, and reading books from people like David Hawkins has really
yeah,
helped me with that as well.
absolutely. Power versus force. It's a bit of a heavy read, but the map of consciousness is a good thing to look at.
I'm actually,
Definitely.
I got to admit, Kat, I'm actually, that's the next module for me. That's the thing I got to read is, I've read some of his other works where he's referencing, I think it's his book recommendations for David Hawkins being in funny order, but yeah, Power versus Force, but yeah, reading some of like Letting Go, and uh,
Letting go is amazing.
a couple of the other books are really, really powerful for raising up that level of consciousness,
Yeah. And
to
letting go the whole, this whole idea of surrender
mm,
versus resistance, you know, allowing yourself to feel emotions that you feel, and not trying to squash them down and feel like then labeling them as bad, because we don't ever let ourselves truly feel. We squash things down and we push them down as far as we can, and we paper over them, you know, fear or sadness or um I can't, give me another negative emotion. I can't think of one, or that we label negative. Grief or
yeah.
guilt, shame, all of those things. We squash them down. We don't feel them. And the David Hawkins book, Letting Go, is a really amazing book that teaches you how to actually let your emotion, like, feel your emotion, let it happen, let the chemical soup that the thought triggers, that fires the emotion, let it happen, so that it can clear and you're not constantly
Mm,
re-triggering it because you're forcing it down. All of these things come in to allowing the soul, the connection to the universe, to be the loudest voice that you hear, rather than the chatter going on in your brain.
mm. Yeah, yeah, certainly. Yeah, no, that's feeling into it, something I found effective, like allowing those chemicals to go through
Yeah.
the body. Has there been anything else you found particularly useful in your journey to clearing things? I know there's a lot of tools out there people talk about, like breath work is what I've been doing, kind of like talking it out. But yeah, just be really curious in kind of what you're teaching and helping people in terms of clearing some of that stuff out.
um, Really, where I'm at right now, what I've found has worked tremendously well, and is working tremendously well for my clients, is to clear the records. And we do that through meditation and through clearing decrees, clearing statements that you place in your Akashic records.
Mm,
Um, and then actually, so when you clear, it clears at that seventh dimensional level, but we still need to have the awarenesses in this 3D dimension. So it's about not having resistance when they come up, letting things come up and not having resistance, not fighting them, and releasing. And I mean, obviously, you know, anything that's going to help your physical body, like breath work, having a good diet, staying hydrated, not eating processed foods, getting plenty of sleep, all of those things, grounding,
mm,
and really grounding into the earth. Or I have a grounding sheet that I have on my bed as well, that helps me sleep much better. So all of those things, anything you can do to help this physical body, is definitely going to help you to be more connected as well.
I love it. I recently went on a nature retreat of the mountains and was releasing quite a lot of stuff as well. I
Yeah.
found that super in Wales. Like walking up the mountains and then kind of throwing like stones as things to release as well. It's a work in progress, admittedly, some of the stuff I'm releasing, but it's yeah, it's that kind of that nature connection for me gave me a real powerful one.
Actually, and I guess I take it for granted because I'm out in nature all the time. I live in a beautiful little village. I have a horse. I'm looking after a dog at the moment, so I'm that's my go-to place as well. And I think it's a really great place to be in touch, as long as you're present in nature, and you haven't got the news on earphones in your ear, or you're not chatting to somebody, or just go out and be still with it, rather than, you know, trying to do another task at the same time. But yeah, nature definitely is a big part of my day. I think that's probably the biggest thing that keeps me connected on a daily basis. My horse especially. I actually, his reaction to me is very much dependent on where I'm at in my own self. If I'm not in a good place, then he knows straight away, and he'll let me know very quickly.
Mm.
And if I am in a good place, he lets me know as well. He lets me give him a cuddle then.
Oh, beautiful. Gotta love animals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotta love them.
Yeah,
Is there
definitely.
is there anything you mentioned sort of like certain foods? Is there anything you try and avoid that you feel like might impact your kind of getting more into the soul or impact your consciousness or your vibration?
Definitely. So I don't eat processed foods.
Mm.
Um, so obviously alcohol can have. I know you're on a little bit of a 6 month sabbatical, aren't you, at the moment from
Yeah,
that?
almost there.
I've
Yeah.
done various stints. I actually used to use alcohol quite heavily as a crutch.
Mm.
Um, to dull down the stuff that I didn't really want to feel. So and it's not that I don't drink at all. I do love a glass of red wine, but it's a glass or two and that's it. So
Mm.
anything more than that, you can feel that. Mind you, having said that, I've not had a raging hangover for a very long time, but that would definitely be something that would dull you down.
Mm.
But I think anything processed, heavy sugar and things like that, and not being hydrated as well,
Mm.
for sure, because you don't get the flow of energy going through your body. Um, I'm big on gut health as well, so anything that's going to support the microbiome in the
Mm.
gut.
Mm. Outside of that, like mentally, in terms of like people, surroundings, information, do you find yourself listening to certain things and not listening to certain things if you can avoid
Yeah,
it as well,
yeah.
or people?
Don't listen to the news unless I'm at my dad's. My dad's 98, still lives at home on his own, and he has the news on 24/7. So I kind of
Ah.
just when I first stopped listening to the news, that was really tough. Now I usually put headphones in with some binaural beats or something going so that I don't have to listen to it. So I don't listen to the news. I don't read the newspapers. I'm very much with Peter Sage on that one. I learned that from
Mm.
him. Um, I don't get into it with people on any kind of complaining or moaning if I can help it. And yeah, I like to have conversations that aren't about what's wrong with the world. I like to have conversations about what's going well for people, what's good, what are you doing, what's lighting you up right now, what are you working on, what are you creating, as opposed to the weather's rubbish and I don't know, my council tax has just been put up again or anything like that. So, and it's tough, I think when you go through this journey, you do tend to shed some friends. I think is probably the politest way to put it. You kind of move away from people that kind of want to stay where they are, stuck in that more fear-based reality.
Mm.
Obviously, family is always a little bit tricky. That's taken me a little while to navigate. Now I'm in a good place with all of that. So, and like you said, it's a journey. We're never done. There's always more to experience. So it's just doing the best that you can, making some small changes, and seeing. I guess it depends on how committed you are, how much you want to get out of the situation that you're in. I
Mm.
was pretty committed. I was struggling with anxiety. I was working really hard and getting frustrated and not getting anywhere. I was pretty shut off from people. I was pretty shut down.
Mm.
Uh, Isolated, drinking too much, all kinds of stuff like that. And I just didn't want to be there anymore.
Mm. So it's a decision.
Big, yeah, consistency as well, being consistent on a daily basis. This isn't something you can dip your toe in every once in a while. I don't think you need to be consistent on a daily basis. It's easy to lose it. It's easy
Mm.
to lose touch. And the more that you do it, the more that you practice, the better you get at it. Um,
Mm.
yeah,
Consistency.
consistency. Yeah, it's a big one, isn't it? With everything,
Yeah.
food, exercise,
Doing.
all of
No.
it.
No, it sounds like you really really honing in on your like the physical and mental diet in because obviously we have that mental diet which is the and that can be fueled by junk mental food as Peter says which is the things like the media which can impact on
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I step out of that. I'm also a Bowen therapist, which is a hands-on body treatment. So
Oh, wow.
I get clients that come in and they say to me, "Oh, have you heard about so and so?" I'm like, "No, I don't. What, you don't know? No, I don't. Well, no, no. Let's talk. No, you just lie down and be quiet. I'm going to treat you. You don't need to talk. This is your time. I don't need to hear it. It doesn't. I don't let it affect my world.
Oh, I
It's
love
nothing to
that.
do with me."
I
Have to
love that.
be. I'm getting a little bit more, a little better at navigating that one, because to start with, I was a bit like, "Oh, just shut up." Now I'm a bit more subtle about it.
Oh,
It takes
brilliant.
a bit of time.
Yeah, it's a certain skill set, the way of saying it. Like Johnny Pardo.
Absolutely, absolutely, for sure. I was just
Brilliant.
having a look to see if there's anything else I wanted to say. No, I don't think so. Unless you've got
Awesome.
anything else you wanted to ask me.
No, I was just gonna say, Kat, if you had a just as before we wrap up, that
Mm,
obviously it'd be great to know where the listener can find you if they want to find out more about you, or your Akashic works,
there you go.
or anything like that. But yeah, where can the listener find you if they want to connect with you more?
So I am on Facebook. I have I'm on there as Cat Wilton, so you
Mm.
can find me as that. On my personal profile, I have a business page that's called Raising Catherine. So that was a little download that I got. I was trying to come up with a name. So Raising Catherine, all about raising vibration.
Mm.
My journey to do that. And I have a Facebook group, Reveal the Wisdom of Your Soul. And I have a free guided journey, sort of 10-12 minute guided journey to the Akashic records, for people to just have a little experience of what it's like to do that. I think I sent you through the link to that. So
Awesome. Yeah.
people can download that and have a little listen. And I'm always love to hear feedback,
Yeah.
what happens, what people experience, and any questions. So yeah.
Amazing, Kat. Yeah, I'll be sure to link that up in the show notes. So check out
Thank
the
you so
show
much.
notes below, and you can find more from Kat. So thanks again, Kat, for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me, John. It's been lovely to talk to you.
You too. So that concludes our episode for today. And remember, you are in control of your own self-esteem and confidence.